Namaste and welcome to Youth in Development, produced by Today's Youth Asia. In the TV show Youth in Development, we bring young leaders face to face with the key players of development works. My name is Drishti, and today we have with us Senior Superintendent of Police, Mr. Nawa Raj Silwal. He is also the Deputy Chief of Narcotic Drugs Control, Law Enforcement Unit of Nepal Police.
Substance abuse is a massive problem in our society. And more than that, it is massive a problem in the learning institutions, in colleges and universities, in terms of gravity and degree. We need to concentrate on promoting, protecting our youths, protecting our people who will take Nepal to the world arena tomorrow. I've started working with various other partners also, which had not been the case in the past. We focused on actually reducing the demand of narcotics, of substance in the community, in the schools and colleges. But that really didn't work much, because all we do is we do around 10% of the problems. 90% of the problems are unattended. 99% of the domestic violences are attributed to the use of drugs, including alcohol, of course. And 50 to 60% of the crimes is connected to the use of substance, because students, youths, they need to buy drugs, they need money, and their parents cannot afford. So what they do is they loot money, pickpocket, or they go around stealing, or even kidnapping and planning, heinous crimes to get money for drugs. They are these producers and then these dealers of narcotic drugs. They are actually creating the market. They have innovative ideas. This is something we police alone cannot find a solution to. Media person, students, and parents, and school teachers, guardians, and all the stakeholders of the society should come together and work. If we are to protect our future generation, parents should be aware of what their kids are doing, whether their behavior is getting changed, whether they are doing fine or not. And another crucial part is of the college or the learning institution itself. They should be held responsible also, because it is their responsibility to take care of the kids that they teach. They're not just distributing the certificates. They should also make sure that they produce a personality that is workable, that can pay attention, that can contribute to the cause of the nation tomorrow.
Rehabilitation centers has been opening nowadays in every corners of the country. It has, however, been a way to earn money rather than serve. There are even stories that youths who have gone for rehabilitation are badly beaten up, and their parents are demanded more money to get an improvement on their health. So how has your department taken up this case?
The rehabilitation centers are supposed to cater services to the needy people. Actually, they're not there to make money. It is entirely service-oriented institutions. They're supposed to be service-oriented institutions, but they are agencies. They actually run to make money. So the government has to actually intervene in such activities. There are rehabilitation centers where actually they do not tend to make money. There are some of those, but there are many of those who actually run as a business making endeavors. So the concerned ministry, Home Ministry itself, has the awareness of such things happening. The Home Ministry has a plan of establishing one regional rehabilitation center in Pokhara. The money has been allocated, and they have probably already procured the land. So they're in a process of constructing a building. So once the government has its own rehabilitation center, that will probably cut short on the opportunities to those people who actually tend to make money out of it.
Transparity is illegal or not, because recently I've heard lots about this transparity, and foreigners are coming in Nepal, enjoying the transparity, smoking weeds and getting drunk, getting high. Should this be stopped, or can be taken in a better way?
We've actually intervened one of those parties which happened on the way to Khasa. Actually, it was in Sindhu Palsak somewhere, where actually the party was already over. we did not find anything contrary to the law that could actually book some people or organizers or whatever. But we have actually invited the organizers of such parties who are based in Tamil, not to entertain such parties. If you can, obviously you can have parties, but that should not be portrayed as a platform where people can travel and then use marijuana or hashish, which is actually giving a very negative message of Nepal. Actually, it's portraying a very negative picture of our country. So we'd like to stop it. We have asked the concerned stakeholders or organizers, whoever, to stop such practices. They can have a decent parties, obviously, because tourists they travel to Nepal. They come to Nepal to enjoy their vacations and then take away the memories from our country. We'd love them. We would like them to come over and then spend times in Nepal, but not actually the way which is in contrary to the prevailing law of the land. That is illegal. And if anybody gets involved in such parties where use of marijuana and then hashish is practiced, then they will land in trouble. Actually, we will intercept. We have actually already had the knowledge of such things happening. It has stopped for a while, as I was told, but we're keeping an eye on such things.
Street youths are mostly used as drug agent by the people. So how is your department looking into it? And do you have some ways to reduce this problem?
The substance abuser in the beginning turn themselves into a dealer in the long run. Those little ones who actually are in the market, in the streets and in colleges and societies, we have local police stations in our communities. They're there to make sure that these kind of malpractices do not happen.
More than a kilo in the day, I think, the group of youth. So I'm working with them, and it is difficult because the police is still involved in them to selling drugs. So it is a hidden issue. So that's why we cannot say that it's true or not. But the police also involved in the selling them. So I have worked some of it. It's working since 5 years. So I have experience. So that most of children was used by drug trafficking, so they are used as agents to sell drugs. So that being the children, also that police cannot guess that they are the drug sellers to the children. So now we are working with 300 children. So mostly they take drugs, even they are like 5 years, 6 years old.
I have no knowledge of police selling such stuff which are actually intercepted or seized from the drug dealers, because there is a system, a very systematized system where the seized drugs are destroyed. There is a committee combined of various authorities. There are people from Home Ministry, there are people from Health Ministry, there are municipality, doctors, and then all sectors of people, and even the representation of the society, the political parties. So there is a group of there is a committee representing various stakeholders, and whatever amount of drugs seized by us, law enforcement, it gets destroyed before them. And when it is properly done, then the documentation is done, and then it's properly done. So I do not think that the seized drugs gets back to the market again. There is no instance, and I guarantee you it's not happening. But there may be some instances, like some individual person, police, getting involved in such activities, because I'm not claiming that police institution is such pure, where they're all the nice people working. No, they are bad cops too, because they come from the society. Because our society is not. No, we're not talking about talking of ideal society kind of society. So there are bad cops too, and they get involved in such activities. If you have such information, you should relay that to us or to the concerned supervisory officer. He will take action, because there is a system where if the cop acts in contrary to his code of conduct, he'll be booked and there are purity measures introduced. So if there are any cases that you are aware of, you have a knowledge of, you, as a citizen, as a competent citizen of the country, it is your duty also to notify it to the concerned authority so that action can be taken. Because one individual doing such things defames the whole organization. They are good people also. They are majority of the people working for the cause. And if one individual gets involved in such activities, and that brings, the defamation to the whole community of law enforcement.
We are also trying to find it, but it is difficult because the children who fight, they don't want to disclose this identity of this police because they are also afraid of this individual police.
There are cases, because I worked as a chief of Kathmandu police myself, so there are cases where, because police is the authority which intercepts, which prevents people from doing illegal activities. So there are confrontation all the time. So these criminal elements, they want to defame police in the eyes of public. So they take out the stories, fake stories to defame the police. So unless they have certain evidences against any individual police, this should not be a news and you should not rely on that. If they have any evidence, you should come out with it.
Youth influence in regarding narcotics is very low, and it should start from an individual itself. Then it should go to second person. Like, I must be able to influence someone who is around me. Then it goes to a neighborhood. Then it goes to society. So in case of what we are doing is like influencing people, it has been done from the upper level. That is like influencing society, then to neighborhood, then it comes to individual.
This drug abuse and drug addiction has become a major and very critical problem of not only a family, not only a community, nation, but this is a global cause. And to eradicate such problems, what we should do is first awareness. We need to be personally aware and spread awareness to our community, society, or in our friend circle.
Youth actually, they get into drug not only because of peer pressure or because someone is creating a market. So you happen to be on that scene all of a sudden, but also out of a curiosity, because people want to get into, it gives you immense pleasure, man, come on. And then, they're curiosity, because youths they think, by nature they're more curious. So out of a curiosity, and they get into it. One time, two time, and the addiction, and they can't get away of it. They need to, get into rehabilitation center and then go through all process before they actually get free of addiction. And if some peer, actually friends, they request me, they pressure me or convince me to get into drugs, I should not. That kind of feelings in yourself is one step ahead. Actually, it's not entire solution to the problem, but it's one step ahead, and that is the biggest difference one individual in the school can make. You can probably play the same part. There are several ways of spreading the awareness to the potential mass who could probably get into drugs.
What drugs are commonly abused in Nepal, and how many youths or even professionals going for a drugs abuse?
There is no such validated actually research done, because this is kind of area where you can probably do a better survey. Because why would someone tell you that he's in drug or she's in drug? Well, we tried actually. There's a program going on actually. The Home Ministry is conducting a survey, but I'm sure that the survey will not come out as a true. We have a kind of a taboo in our society. Even the family, parents, they know that their kid is taking drug, but they will not share it with other people because they fear. The prestige will go down, or they will be looked down upon by the community. But however, there are several such institutions which are working in it, and that says that approximately 30 to 35% students are in drugs. They may be smoking marijuana, and they may not, be addicted to it. But they're in a potentially high threat level of getting addicted to it.
I realize that Nepal, or let's say Kathmandu, is still world's #1 best hippie destination. It is considered to be a peaceful haven for narcotic consumers. Well, what I want to ask is like, we are unwillingly presenting ourselves in the field of narcotic tourism. So what are the precautionary measures which we are taking from government side?
Whoever posted this information in the website, I do not agree to this information anyway. The areas where actually tourists would try to find ways to, smoke hashish or stuff like that. Let's about Thamel. But there are a couple of operations we carried out in the last few weeks' time, where one American, one German, and a Russian also were caught actually in the middle of dealing with stuff. And there are also people who actually are getting this pharmaceutical drugs from the pharmacies in Tamil, because they do not sell those stuff to Nepalese, but they're happily selling it to the foreigners. So they procure such drugs and ship it to the destinations back home or elsewhere, wherever they would like to send it to. And the message that we've been able to send across the world with those three seizures, it's loud and clear. For the promising tourists or whoever would like to travel to Nepal to smoke hashish or whatever, it's no longer such a safe place to come and smoke hashish, because you'll be caught, or you'll find a place where you'll be caught between criminal justice system and then your diplomatic agency involved and all that.
Yes, so moving forward, like there are several international conventions held upon narcotic and its issues. So why is it like it is dealt in various ways? In case of Singapore, death penalty is sure, and in some other countries they just charge you some amount and leave you free. So why is it dealt differently in different countries? We
have been a party to the international convention which guarantees that we abolish death penalty. So we cannot actually introduce an act in our country which will ensure a death penalty, because we have been a party to the covenant which prohibits practicing of death penalty. Like in the case of, we have actually, I'd like to cite an example to you actually. A Thai lady was caught, was intercepted in TIA, International Airport in Kathmandu. She was actually traveling from Peru via Dubai, and she actually spent 2 nights in Kathmandu, and she was going to, it was destined to Bangkok, but she was going to Kuala Lumpur. And we intercepted her. And she said she was happy to be caught, to be arrested in Nepal, because we do not have death penalty. I'm not a proponent of death penalty, because people do not born as a criminal. They get into criminal activities because of several factors, environmental factors, social factors, and educational and family and all that. If you compare with the countries where they have death penalties and our country where we do not have death penalty, I think we are better off, because we respect the life, human life. We also respect the dignity, and we also actually look into the perspective of the room where a criminal can be transformed into a good citizen, where tomorrow he can actually contribute to the greater society.
What kind of narcotic tolerance is accepted in Nepal?
We have a provision in the law where if you find a substance abuser, the police can arrest him and then put him in a trial, and that will give him up to 1 month imprisonment. But later, over the last few years, we have realized that this is not a proper solution, because the law is on its way to get amended, but we have ceased to practice that provision of arresting an abuser and putting him in jail. I think it's better we send him to the rehabilitation centers. If you abuse hashish, marijuana, you have a lesser penalty, quite less. But if you go into hard drugs like white sugar or cocaine, it's like life imprisonment and very, very severe penalties.
So from your perspective, what could be the concrete reasons that especially large number of youths are involved on this issue?
Large number of youths are involved in substance abuse because they are not properly attended. Youths need to be monitored. I'm not saying that they should be controlled all times, no. But in terms of guidance or counseling, or parents or teachers or whoever guardians are taking care of them, they should know that know the activities they are involved in. Our schools, our institutions are more of a business prospect. They do not care much about the outer personality of a student. They like to focus more on the studies, books and courses, and as long as you are fine with your performance in the tests and examinations, they're fine. They don't care whether after schools you go out, you get into substance abuse or whatever. They don't care.
So when we say drugs, it's generally understood as marijuana, cocaine, heroin, opium and cannabis. So, but people don't understand, and like you've already mentioned, there are the medical aspects of drugs as well. And doctors who can easily access the drugs, they're also into drugs and they're using it. People can get the sedatives without any prescriptions. And how has the police looked into it? And has the government formulated any kind of laws regarding it?
The amount of these restricted drugs that are sold under strict doctor prescription of the medical practitioners are to be done on record. All the transactions of such drugs need to be recorded, and that record goes to the Home Ministry through there's a department of drug administrations, and they collect all the information of the amount of drugs that are sold by particular pharmacies. There's a regulation, actually. There's a policy, but it is not adhered to. There are a lot of loopholes in it. Those who are in substance abuse. So we're investigating a couple of issues where these youths actually they've printed the prescription, doctor's prescription, in the press. We have actually intercepted a pharmacy in one of the corners of Kathmandu, where a person was selling diazepam and buprenorphine without prescription. There is an association of medical practitioners, and there's also an association of medical professionals where they sell. They have an association, and they have a group of people actually. They're supposed to follow the government policies and all that. So we've actually notified them that make sure that your pharmacies are doing fine and following the policies that the government has formulated. There are 6,000 pharmacies in Kathmandu Valley alone, but we're also considering getting into the interception of pharmacies and all that. It will probably have a better result in the days ahead.
Media and police has been continuously reporting that Nepal is the transit point for the drug smuggling. Like for example, the drugs produced in Golden Triangle, like Laos, Vietnam and Myanmar, those has been smuggled through our point. Nepal is taken as the transit point. So these drugs are transferred to the European countries and some other countries. What your department is doing and how far your department is informed regarding the international drugs trafficking to other countries?
It used to be like in late 70s, early 80s, Nepal used to be one of the transit points of drug trafficking. But because given the fact that the Golden Crescent, which actually produces Afghanistan, let's say Afghanistan produces more than 90% of the opiates like white sugar and brown sugar that produced in the world, and the market, like 50% of that substance market is in America, and 25% is Europe, and 25% is the rest of the world. Because there are some instances of the recent intervention that we've been able to make also tells us that there are indications that Nepal might come up as a transit points of drug trafficking in the coming decades or years to come. If international community views Nepal as a transit point to international drug trafficking, then that would be something we'll not be happy with. So we'd like to protect the reputation of our country. So we are committed to that. Law enforcement is quite committed to that, and we have asked the government to actually put in place these extra measures which can make sure that such activities are intercepted. The capacity of our system is updated, and skill development programs of our people are introduced, and that is taking place.
If you are to blame one, who would you blame for this cause?
Our education system has a problem because the world is evolving. There are a lot of challenges coming up, and we're still following the world kind of education system that we have. Our education need to teach our students what their roles should be in terms of contributing to the nation, in terms of contributing to the society and greater good of the humanity. It needs to teach our people what their moral obligations is towards the nation. What are they supposed to do for the good of their nations? And what are they supposed to do for the good of the people, entirety? I would say this is very alarming, and this is a high time that we act upon it. And if you have a family, you have friends, go around, talk to them, make sure that they are not in drugs. And if they are getting into drugs, stop them from it. And if they are already in drugs, get them to the rehabilitation center where they can reduce the harm, and they can probably get back to the normal life. If you save one person from getting into drug, you actually contributed to the better of the nation. Make sure that your family, your friends, or your brothers, sisters are not in drugs. By contributing to save one individual, you are probably serving the society, serving the nation, serving the globe. So let's take one step ahead. And with this session, I'm sure you are enlightened also. You also learned a lot. I have also learned a lot from your experience and all that.
Thank you very much, Mr. Nawa Raj Silwal, for being with us today and for sharing your insightful thoughts and views. Thank you for being with us. We look forward to your feedback. Our email address is youthtya@gmail.com. If you need to connect to Nepal Police, the phone number is 100. We'll be back next week at the same time. Have a nice week. Namaste.